Hello, my name is Maud Goba. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a lesbian from Zimbabwe and a refugee in the UK. Um, I work for Micro Rainbow, an organization that works with the LGBTQI plus asylum seekers and refugees. I'm really glad to be here and happy to be in this session, which is part of Pink News yearly Pride celebration, and it's Pride for All. And this festival aims to offer activities and content so that everyone can attend this Pride wherever they are. I'm really excited about it because I would have loved to have been able to have this platform to log on to when I was, a lesbian in Zimbabwe, thinking that, I was the only one out there. So I know that people from all corners of the world who are not fortunate enough to be in a space where they get to celebrate pride, they get to celebrate who they are, they get to celebrate themselves, are able to sort of log in online and enjoy these activities, these sessions. So Pride for All is also in support of LGBTQI plus Refugees Welcome, which is Pink News fundraiser for those displaced by war in Ukraine. I think it's important for us to remember that during this time we have our siblings, our brothers and sisters, our non-binary our non-binary siblings who are in Ukraine at this time, and they need all the support we can give them as they face additional challenges. They already faced challenges before the war, and now it is kind of exacerbated by this war. So Micro Rainbow is one of the charities which is part of Pink News campaign. So today we are going to be discussing the experiences of LGBTQI plus asylum seekers and refugees and how Micro Rainbow supports them. And with me, I have John. And John, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi. My name is Juan Sumbul. I'm originally from Saudi Arabia. I came to the UK almost 3 years ago, and I'm asylum seeker in the UK. And I live as well in one of the micro rainbow safe houses. And hello.
Hi, John. We still have you. We still here.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Sure.
Okay, so I live I live in one of the micro rainbow safe houses, and I'm glad to be here as well. This is a big opportunity for me, and it's really amazing experience that I get to share my own experience to the LGBTQ community in the whole world. So it's really a big step for me, and thank you for giving me this opportunity.
We're really glad that you're here, and personally, I can't wait to hear more and to learn. I think we're always learning, and also to know how we can support
Yeah.
more. But in the way of background, Micro Rainbow is one of the first organization to provide safe houses to asylum seekers and refugees, and we started this housing, or these safe houses, to tackle the challenges that asylum seekers and refugees face in accommodation, in homelessness, and also when they're accommodated with other refugees, where they continue to face homophobia and transphobia and biphobia. So most of our work really tackles the challenges of poverty, these challenges of social inclusion, and also when people are ready to move on after they get granted their refugee status, employability. We work with people to ensure that they integrate, they move on, and they really do not fall back into poverty, that they are able to live their best selves in their new community. I think one of the things that perhaps I can talk about uh, how these challenges sort of intersect and impact on asylum seekers and refugees. So when someone arrives in the UK as an asylum seeker, they cannot work. They are provided home office accommodation if they're eligible for it. And in this accommodation, sometimes they live with people from their home country or people who are not accepting or tolerant of LGBTQI people. So they face the same abuse, the same challenges, which either results in them being abused or results in them hiding. There have been instances where, there's even been sexual abuse, people have been beaten up. So there is really need of safe accommodation. Coupled with that, having to wait a long time for your status to be resolved, it also means that you've not been working, you don't have UK work experience, you're also isolated at this time. So our workshops and different activities ensure that people are not isolated. We have some wellness. We take a holistic approach to our support. We have some wellness activities such as yoga, music, dance session, things that people can get involved in. And the reason why we do this is because I don't know if many people know, asylum seekers get about £40 a week, and that is supposed to cover food, that is supposed to cover clothing, that is supposed to cover transport. So it might not be enough for people to engage in social activities. So we ensure that we have different social activities. And I think I have mentioned moving on. So while we have all these challenges, many people forget the issues that trans people face. Trans people already face challenges in the UK itself. Now, you can imagine if you're a trans asylum seeker who is not working, who might need, hormone therapy, who might need to start getting, clothing, makeup, or different things to live in your affirmed body. It is quite all these different challenges. If we move on, there are also lesbian women whose challenges are completely different. They face challenges because of their gender, they're migrants, they're asylum seekers, and at times they're mothers also. So I think the challenges are many, so we're really grateful for support from Pink News, from our community members, and sometimes from corporate partners who help us with employability. I could go on talking about these challenges, but I think perhaps I'll give a chance to John to tell us a bit more about your journey in terms of arriving in the UK or your life in Saudi Arabia, and just about your life as a trans person.
Yeah. So my life, I will start with my life in Saudi Arabia. So my life in Saudi Arabia, well, basically I was hiding all my life there because you don't have a chance to, express, or you don't have a chance even for you being a trans living there. You're gonna face a lot of hardness, like for example, your family won't accept, the community won't accept, the government won't accept. So basically you have to hide yourself. And also it's for the LGBTQ community, for example, the gay or the lesbian, the same thing. But my experience as a trans, I had to hide 18 years. And the first person I told that I'm trans was my partner, which we decide to move on together and then go to the UK and live together and start the life there. But in the other people cases, most of them, like they are stuck there. They are stuck without anybody knowing that they are trans. They are stuck and struggling alone. They cannot do any activity, they cannot do anything to make them feel better. the dysphoria, you know, sometimes the dysphoria for the trans, if you do some activities, if you do some things, you know, maybe with your clothes, with how you look, your hair, something like that, it's gonna help you feel better. But in Saudi Arabia, that's not the case, because it's even hard for you to show it from the outside. For example, when I was in the college or the university, I couldn't cut my hair. I couldn't have short hair because it's forbidden there. So I got kicked out from the college because of that, because just of my hair. I didn't tell anyone that I'm trans. I didn't act like I'm trans. I was hiding it, but just because of my haircut. So even the small things you cannot do in Saudi Arabia, they control everything in your life, and really you cannot do much in Saudi Arabia. You cannot do anything. So the trends in my country, they suffer a lot. Like I know most of the trans people, they suffer every day. It's a daily struggle. I know that, but from my experience, the trans people in Saudi Arabia, they cannot do anything to make them feel better. Regardless that they cannot have the therapy, they cannot have the surgeries, they cannot even have the small things to make them feel better. And that's just, you know, it's not make sense to me, because in my country now, everything changed in the past few years really fast. And I was surprised, to be honest, because I lived there, and that was really, you know, big change. But even though that we witnessed this big change, this big changing in my country, but from this case, I don't know why, but we didn't see any change in the LGBT community or the trans people. They are still struggling. They are still going through the same things over and over and over. So it's really, the LGBT community doesn't have life there. They cannot live there, basically.
Oh, thank you so
Yeah.
much for
So
sharing.
you're
I know
welcome.
that it is difficult to talk about and share parts of our life, especially when, like you're saying, you're thinking of other trans people who are
Yeah.
still in Saudi Arabia, who are still not free, who still cannot even, like you're saying, cut their hair the way they want to, and are still
Yeah.
suffering in hiding. It is really difficult. Um, but if you don't mind sharing, I acknowledge that it can be a challenge. What is the journey like what has been your journey like in the UK? I know that in my personal journey, it took time. For a couple of years, I was waiting for my status to be resolved, and at the time, there was no micro rainbow to support me. Um, but
Yeah.
I would love to hear what has been your journey like.
Yeah. So basically, when I first arrived to the UK, I was really afraid and worried about being homeless, because we hear a lot of cases about the asylum seekers being. So when I first came to the UK, I was in London, and I moved from the airport to hostel, which was a really bad experience, really terrible one, to be honest, because, you know, I came from my country and I found all the people there. So it felt like I'm still living in my country. And the problem is, even when in my country I was hiding who I am, but when I arrived in the UK, like I had the freedom, so I showed what I felt and I showed who I am. So to be honest, like I've been through a lot more than even the things I've been through in my country, like really bad experience. I couldn't feel safe. I couldn't even go to take my food from the hostel, so I couldn't really eat. I was watching myself every time I moved, and I had a partner as well, so I was really worried about her as well, because there you're gonna find a really, I don't know how to explain it, but like the people, they come from war, and they come from different countries, they've been through a lot, and their mental health, it's not really, it's not really good. And especially the Middle Eastern people, they don't have the LGBTQ community in their country, they don't accept it. I know that even if they are here, if they are with each other, they're gonna refuse it. So it was really bad experience. As I said, I couldn't feel safe because I felt like I'm homeless, like I'm living on the streets. Basically, I didn't feel like I'm safe at all. I felt like I'm living in the street because of these people. Like you're gonna get the bullying and the harassment and different of bad stuff. Like it's really bad experience, and it's really affect me in the bad way, like really. Because as I said, like even in my country, I didn't go through similar stuff like that. But here in the UK, and so sorry, the hostel, it was a really horrible experience. So that's when I found out about Micro Rambo. So I googled like safe houses for trans people, and then just Micro Rambo link came up, and then I contacted the Micro Rambo, and then I went to them in London. They moved me to the safe house, but actually, like the hostel, it's not safe for the LGBTQ people. And I'm not the only one. That's the problem. Like, there's a lot of people still speaking about that. Like, the LGBTQ people shouldn't go through this. They gone through enough of their life, so they want to feel safe. So I think like Micro Rainbow, it's really good and big organization, because they focused in the most important thing, that the people should feel safe. If you didn't feel safe, you wouldn't feel okay in your life. Like you're gonna have the mental health issues. You're gonna have a lot of problems. So Micro Rainbow offer like the safe house, because they want people to feel safe. They want people to feel free to express themselves without fearing anybody else who can suddenly attack them or just snap. Yeah. So
Um,
that's my experience in the hostel.
I'm sorry that you have to go through that. I think those are some of the challenges that we're trying to tackle so that people are in a safe place. We all deserve to be safe. We are already fleeing this kind of persecution. It's not easy to have to think that, okay, I'm here now, I'm free, and they again are faced with the same challenges, and feeling threatened, and also facing homelessness. It is really tough, I can imagine, especially for people who can be easily identified as different um, or trans. I think perhaps I can ask more, John, in terms of what has the journey been like at the moment. I almost feel that Is there anything you want to share in terms of how the journey has been? Our audience already know that the journey is not easy and it's
Yeah,
not brief. My case took almost 3 years or 3 years. So it would be good to know what has. I know that now you're in micro rainbow housing. You have you're safe. You've got a roof over
yeah,
your head, and obviously there are some challenges we can't help with in terms of the amount that people get per month, which is £40, which isn't really a lot per, not per month, per week. £40 a week, which isn't really a lot to
yeah,
cover, especially when everything is going so expensive at the moment.
yeah.
um do you have some moments of joy you would like to share, or any experiences that you'd like to share, any challenges you're facing at the moment as you are going through your journey?
Well, actually, as you mentioned, it's really like hard journey and a long one, to be honest. So when I want to think, or when I want to think about something positive or good to make me keep going, actually, I think about the future. I
Mm.
think about okay, that's the big step I'm gonna make in my life, and it's gonna take years maybe, but it's gonna give me my freedom. It's gonna give me everything I ever wanted, and no one can stop me. So basically, that this idea gave me the courage to keep going. If I want to make myself feel better, I just remember that.
Yes, I think I remember the first time I met you with your partner, and you were really passionate about the future and acknowledging that it would be a
Yeah.
challenge. But I think one of the things you talked about was you wanted to be a policeman. Is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
still the case?
yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's part of my dream to be a policeman because I want to be able to protect myself and the others. Feeling safe, it's not just, it's not easy. It's not easy. Like you
Mhm.
can live in your own country and you still not gonna feel safe. So feeling safe, it's the most important thing to me. So I wanna have that to myself and offer it to the other people.
That's absolutely amazing, and I know that
Yeah,
that's gonna happen. Obviously, I'm a living testimony that you can go through this and you can achieve what you
hopefully.
want. I was an asylum seeker, and now I'm a national manager for Micro Rainbow, and also the chair of UK Black Pride. They, you can do it. So, but one thing I wanted to also ask was regarding, like, the transitioning process. I know that you are here, you are free. What has been the, if you want to discuss, if you're free to discuss that in terms of, like, how has it been, what has the support been like in terms of you as a trans
Yeah,
person transitioning, in terms of you're affirming your body, affirming who you are, affirming your gender.
yeah, sure. So, first of all, like, since I came to the UK, I tried my best to get myself in gender clinic because I didn't know how the process is for the trans people because in my country we didn't have this. So it was my first time. So they told me that you have to sign into gender clinic and wait for it until they give you the hormone therapy and the surgeries and everything you need. So basically now 3 years waiting and still nothing. So the procedures are really slow for trans people, and I don't really understand that. Because as I said and as I mentioned before, the trans people, they struggle daily. So all that waiting time, like it's really bad. It's not really helpful, to be honest. So now I'm taking the hormone by myself, without doctor, because of how the system work and how is it really slow. And I'm not just alone. Like, there's a lot of trans people out there. They're doing the same thing because of the waiting list, which is, we are talking about 3 4 years, 5 years just for a hormone. And then you have to go to different procedures to have the surgery. So basically it's just a waste of time and
Mm.
years, you know.
Okay.
So I start taking hormones by myself without any doctor, and that's really dangerous step. But I just couldn't wait that long because it wasn't really make sense.
Mm.
And I here I feel like free. I can do anything I want, and to be honest, I came to the UK because of this case. So I'm gonna like continue trying, of course.
Mm.
It was really bad, and I couldn't wait that long. You know, it's 3 years now, so it's not easy to wait.
Mm.
So even in the UK, like the therapy for trans people, I can't say it's that good, to be honest, but it's really slow. It's really slow.
Yes. I know from all the other trans people that we work with that
Yeah,
they're
so
facing the
I
same
think,
challenges.
sorry.
Sorry, I think with a delay.
No, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying that I know from the other trans people that we work with that this is a real challenge. Sometimes, depending on the GP that you get, some are able to start on hormones, or depending on the area that they're living.
Yeah,
But a lot have been forced to kind of tend to the black market for hormones, which is really also very dangerous because, to my understanding, you need the support of a doctor for this.
yeah. So basically, the GPs have the power to give you the hormone, to start the hormone therapy with you as a trans, because they have a bridging prescription, which is like a temporary prescription for trans people who are waiting in the gender clinic list, to just to provide it to the trans people so they don't harm their self,
Mm.
buying hormones from, I don't know, the black market, and then injecting themselves, and it's really dangerous. So we have this thing, so it's bridging prescription, but most of the GPs, they don't even know about this. And even though if you go and show them like this something, it's real, like there's a bridging prescription, they won't like prescribe it for you because no one does, you
Mm.
know. So it's a little bit tricky, to be honest, because because you have the bridging prescription, but the funny part is they cannot prescribe it to you.
Mm.
So
I think one of the things when we were speaking earlier that you told me was that you felt that you've been forced to kind of start a GoFundMe to fundraise for yourself, especially when it comes to your transitioning journey, so you can look into private support.
yeah, yeah, oh, that's true, yeah. Because in my case, to be honest, there's no way like I can provide that for myself. I tried my best, but I feel like all the procedures. I have the my asylum procedures, and I have the clinic procedures. It's really like I cannot provide that for myself. So I think the donations, like, it's gonna help me more to achieve it fast, you know, because I don't have the power to do it by myself. As I said, I have a lot of procedures going on, and I cannot just provide that. I have to go in private, and it's quite expensive. I don't get just £40 a week, and it's basically maybe just enough for the food.
Mhm. I definitely hear you and I understand. Um, I think perhaps just to wrap up, I wanted to ask you maybe a question. Um, we know that the process has many issues, and especially for LGBTQI people who are seeking safety. Um, so usually, people have a lot of questions. They might not know about the process or the challenges. Perhaps they have like sort of a view depending on what they see in the media. But what is the one thing that you wish people knew about the experience of asylum seekers?
Yeah. So the one thing that it's really a hard and long journey, because we have so many people saying the opposite, like it's easy, but it's not easy. It's not easy like it seems. You basically have to like realize that you are by your own, and you have to take the responsibility for yourself in every step you do. And also, like, you have um, you have to make sure that you are in the right place, you are doing the right step, so you don't regret it later, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. I mean, a lot of people think that it's easy, and the perception is that,
Yes,
these people are coming and getting some
exactly.
money from the
That's
government.
why I mentioned, like, you have to make sure that this is the right step for you, because some people think that it's easy, and it's just not the right step for them, because some people just can't handle it and think it's easy. Some people just can't.
Mm, yeah. I think personally, I would want maybe people in the community or in the UK community to know that, um, LGBTQ asylum seekers have got so much to offer to the new community. Apart from being asylum seekers, there are humans who are talented, the humans who can contribute to, like I said, to the new communities. We have so much, and they're resilient people. For them to be able to get here, it's not an easy journey. And the process is so difficult that many often want to give up. But such resilience is something I think that people should be proud of, and people should welcome refugees into their community and really sort of give people a chance to uh, give back to the community.
Yeah. But yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I think I think that's it. I think we finished.
Okay.
Oh, I think.